the youngest woman in America to be sentenced to death. If she is executed, she would be the first woman put to death in Tennessee in more than 200 years. Want to clarify, woman singular, women plural, right? I don't know. I'm never gonna get it right. If you're new here, my first language is Spanish. I'm Mexican. I pronounce things wrong on the regular. My apologies about that, but I want you guys to know I really try really hard. Sometimes it just doesn't roll off my tongue. But let's get into today's story. Krista Park was born in Beckley, West Virginia. From the moment that Krista's mom found out that she was pregnant, she decided that she just wasn't gonna care for her. Because of her mom's actions during her pregnancy, Krista suffered damage to her frontal lobe as well as seizures when she was growing up. After Krista was born, she was severely neglected. Just to give you an idea of how severe the situation was, she would play, as a little girl, she would play with dog poop instead of toys. Her house was filthy and her mom didn't care. When Krista was only 2 years old, her parents got divorced, and when she spent time with her dad instead of her mom, she was also treated like she did not matter. To this day, Krista still has scars that you can see from the things that her father did to her. Long story short, her mom was horrible, dad was horrible, grandparents also sucked, and the negligence that Krista experienced only continued as she got older. When she was 12 years old, she was essayed by a man and reported it to police, and although the man pled guilty to his charges, Krista's mom blamed her for the situation and told her that she was lying. By the age of 13, Krista was dependent on substances and suffering from SA regularly. By the age of 15, she was sent to juvie. By the age of 16, she got out of juvie. She dropped out of school, was suffering from depression, and got diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Krista Pike's upbringing was truly horrible. It's probably one of the worst that I've heard. She had no stability, no safety, and absolutely no love. At 18 years old, Krista joined a youth program called Job Corps in Knoxville, Tennessee. This program sounds like a program for 16 to 24-year-olds that basically helps them get their life back on track. It helps them not only in a social setting, but also academically. It was in Job Corps that Krista met 17-year-old Daryl Shipp. He had a lot of things in common with Krista. They both kind of went the wrong path in their life. They were both involved with the wrong groups of people. They both dropped out of school. Both were regularly using substances, and both had been involved in previous criminal activity. They also had a very big interest in common, which was Satanism. Daryl ended up at Job Corps because his mom wanted him to enroll in hopes of giving him a chance to get his life back together. And when he met Krista, he said, "I've seen you before. I've seen you in my dreams. You are the girl of my dreams." And Krista says, "Great, I think so too." And they started dating and they fell in love. And sooner than later, the two of them were infatuated with one another. And it seems like their dynamic was bad guy, good girl. Well, maybe I wouldn't necessarily say that Krista was good girl, but he was definitely the bad guy. He was intimidating, mean, violent, aggressive towards other people. Like, I think the way that he walked around that place and his demeanor was quite scary, but to Krista, he was nice. So Krista was like, "Oh, I'm so cute. You are a monster to everyone else, but to me, you're so nice. So I love you so much." And that was enough for her, and their relationship truly consumed her. Until there was a bump in the road. The bump in the road's name was 19-year-old Colleen Slemmer. Krista had it out for Colleen since the moment that she met her, pretty much, and Colleen got wrapped up in a lot of teenage petty drama, for a lack of a better word. In Thanksgiving break of 1994, Krista went home for Thanksgiving, but Colleen and Daryl stayed at Job Corps. So when Krista came back, Colleen and Daryl were acting a lot more cozy, comfy with each other, way more than before, and Krista was furious because she had this obsession with Daryl, but to the point that it was toxic, and now she had this idea that Colleen was out to steal her man, and the jealousy that she had just translated into a deep rage. Krista made it a point to ruin this girl's life. She went out of her way to bully her, insult her, threaten her. I mean, it was ridiculous, honestly, the amount of time and effort she put into upsetting somebody else. By January of 1995, these people had known each other for 3 months. 1, 2, 3, keep that in mind. Krista approaches Daryl and tells him that they need to do something about Colleen, and she comes up with this idea to lure her off campus and attack her. And on January 12th of 1995, they put their plan into action. Krista, Daryl, and their friend, 18-year-old Shadala Peterson, they are able to lure Colleen off campus by lying to her, telling her that they were going to Blockbuster to rent a movie, and they invited her to come with. The four of them met up that night and started walking all together until they were walking past a wooded area, and Krista suggested that they take a pit stop and walk through the woods in the dark. And once they were in the secluded area, Krista attacked Colleen, threw herself onto her, striking her with her hands all over her face, smashing her head in her knees, breaking her nose, smashing her head honestly against any hard surface that she could find. Then Daryl got involved, and they were both using as much force as they had in their bodies to hurt Colleen. Krista pulled out a box cutter and they used it on Colleen's body over 300 times. They used a meat cleaver and a piece of concrete just to torture Colleen over and over again, to the point that her skull was caving in and a piece of her skull fell out. Colleen Slemmer tragically lost her life that night. This attack lasted 45 minutes, and at the end of it, Krista disposed of Colleen's body in some bushes. She grabbed the piece of her skull that fell out of her head, put it in her pocket, and took it back with her to brag to her classmates about what she had just done. They got back to campus around 11 p.m. that night, and Krista went straight to her friend's room, singing, dancing, confessing to murder, and showing the piece piece of skull as proof. The next day, she was showing it off to other people as well with not even 1 ounce of remorse. Within 36 hours, Krista, Tadaro, and their friend Shadala were arrested and charged with murder after Colleen's body was found. Krista gave a full confession, didn't hide or lie about anything. Tadaro and Shadala also admitted to the part that they played in the murder as well, but because Shadala gave so much information to the police, so many details, and basically helped them solve this case, in return for her confession, she was given protection and received no prison time. Tadaro was found guilty of murder and he was sentenced to life in prison. In Krista's trial, her defense tried to blame it on her rough upbringing, which was awful, but not an excuse. I'm sorry, why are you trying to do that? Just because you had a bad life doesn't give you the right to take away someone else's. Like, what? Krista Pike was also found guilty and she was sentenced to death by electrocution for the murder charge, making her the youngest woman in America ever to be sentenced to death. She also received an additional 25 years in prison for the conspiracy charge because she was planning this murder. After this whole ordeal, Krista wrote a disgusting letter to Tadaro. I'm just gonna put it up on the screen. But since then, Krista has done many interviews to appeal her sentence and say that she doesn't deserve to die. As of May of 2024, the state of Tennessee has not set an execution date for Krista Pike, but I guess we'll see what happens. Again, another awful case, ending someone's life for what? For no reason at all. Insane, but let me know if you guys have heard of this before. Let me know what your thoughts are on it. And that's it from me today. I hope you guys are having the best day. If not, go do something to make it the best day, and I will see you in my next video. Massive kiss on the forehead to every single one of you.